Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back to Muslim Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Ibrahim Sharaf, and I know we look a little different today, but I'm here with
Mahmoud, Zayed,
Omar Khan.
welcome, guys. It's the first time for the both of you guys.
Pleasure to be here. I'm ready to talk smack and talk about this last week's few games.
Yeah, it was rough for the three of us.
Yeah, that's true.
I had to bring in people that lost because I was not going to do it.
Demoralizing episode coming up.
No, 100%. All right. Announcements. I don't think I really have any, but the usual. Just make sure that the place is clean, that we leave by a certain time, that we pray the Quran with everybody. And I think, I don't think I had any pertinent announcements. But besides that, let's get right into the games. So the first game that we had this week was
the box score.
Yeah, everyone's pulling up while everyone's pulling up the stats. Okay, first game was Tiberias versus Nazareth. So Tiberias versus Nasira, I believe they're called. And this game, I didn't personally get to watch it because we were on the other half, or the other court, I mean.
Yeah.
But Omar, you took a look at this game, right?
I think I did, yes.
Tell us about it.
I couldn't really glean much from it. I know Maruz was there. I'm just looking at the box score. He went 3 out of 12 from field goal made, which is not the best, but he did have 12 rebounds. Did they end up winning the game? Where do you even see the score?
Top.
They lost, actually. They had 47 and Nazareth had 9.
Were you there to watch it, Mahmoud?
I caught glimpses of it.
Yeah.
I think I was on. This game was on court 1. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was on court 2 most of the time. I mean, I caught some of the action. I mean, from the little bits and pieces that I did catch, and then just from what I've seen in the past from Nazareth especially, I think Omar is a beast.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at his stat line right now.
Yeah.
Dude, super efficient. It's not the first efficient game he's had. I'm pretty sure he's also playing in the North League too, which is pretty solid considering he's able to sustain in both leagues. But he went 7 for 11. And in terms of rebounding, assisting, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, he's pretty active across the board.
Yeah, across the whole thing.
Yeah,
15, 6, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks.
It's not just him too. I feel like his whole team is pretty efficient. At least 2 people went 5 for 7 and 5 for 8 respectively.
But you do get a little hack-a-shack situation with Omar Man. 1 for 6 from the free throw line is not that good.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen from Tiberias, honestly, they have players who are good in certain categories. Like I know Abdurrahman is really good at rebounding, for example. But in terms of coming together as a team, I think their record right now, I think they're 2-2. So they could definitely play together, but I think they do get challenged when they they have to deal with someone like Omar, who is a handful offensively and is really involved.
Like when it takes, you're saying, in a situation where it takes more than one to stop somebody.
Yeah,
they slow down in that.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at fouls, I mean, Abdurrahman got 5 fouls. I think few players had 2 fouls on their team each. So I think when players start to foul a little more easily, it's one of 2 things. It means you're either getting lazy on defense or you just can't stop a player, and I think that's probably what I would lean more towards for them. So I would suggest for them to be a little more grounded when it comes to defense and maybe talk through matchups, because some of these teams who have players who are consistent bucket getters, it's going to be tough to stop them.
What about Sabra coming out on Tiberias' side, 17 points? There was the leading scorer this week. Which usually you'll see that from Mahruz, but it looks like they took the assignment. Nazareth took the assignment pretty well. They slowed him down to 7 points, 3 for 12, like Omar said. Yeah. But it looks like Sal Rahim got it going, 4 for 9. He had 50% from the 3-point line, to all 6 of his free throws. So it looks like he drew a good amount of fouls as well. That's good to see from him. I think he's usually their second leading scorer, right?
Yeah. They forced him to step up.
Yeah, and. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, teams who can kind of recognize that. I've definitely I've noticed in certain games I could see certain players get pressured early on because reputation as, this guy's a 3-point shooter,
Right.
or, this guy's their dominant scorer. So when other teammates can recognize that and take advantage accordingly, knowing they have a mismatch or the focus isn't on them, that could really help you win games. But doesn't look like it was enough to get them over the hump this time around. But if you could get multiple guys on the team to have a good game and lock down defensively, you have a chance to win anytime.
Yeah,
so.
and Nazareth, you look at their whole style line. They had 3 people in double figures. Nobody was really the hero today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had
Yeah.
16 from Shafiq, which is great. 15 and 6 from Omar, like we just talked about his full stat line. 12 points from Ilyas. They kind of have like it's almost like you obviously are going to get good games from Omar and Shafiq every game, but it's really that third person ends up being one person. Like I think last week was Muhammad. This week is Ilyas, he's DPOY, but 5 for 7 there. He got a steal, which is great.
All very efficient stat lines too. Like 5 for 7, 7 for 11.
As a team, 53%. 53 is crazy.
Yeah.
Tiberias is 32%.
Yeah.
Huge difference there for sure.
Yeah, Nazareth is definitely one of the top teams in the league for sure. Right now, they're the team to beat. Obviously, Yazur hasn't officially lost a game yet, and you know what I mean. But we'll see what happens. What comes down the pipe administratively, but Nazareth is doing great. You know what I mean? Like they're looking like they're definitely top 3. It's them, Shatila, and Yazur. I wish, right? Not after last week. Okay, I think that's. You guys have anything else to say about this game, or you just gonna move on to the disappointment of the week?
I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, guys, it's our game. The moment you've been waiting for, Omar.
No,
I have to say, I have to start it off. All right, I came out last week.
Let's hear what the players themselves have to say about this.
I came out last week on the pod, and I talked a lot of trash to Omar Abbasi. I said he was scared, and to be honest, he didn't play that well. I think he was 3 for 12, 9 points. Yeah. So we did a good job.
You guys did pretty well slowing him down.
So look, defensively, I think we did great because, all right, cat's out of the bag. We scored 1 point in the second half. It was just embarrassing. It was really bad, right?
Yeah.
But defensively, we were up 4 points at the half, right? They only won by 12 points. No, 16 points,
up
right?
Like almost 10 points at one point.
Right.
First half, we had control of that game for
we were up by 4.
Few minutes.
And they didn't win by an insane margin. I wouldn't say. You know what I mean? It's definitely a commanding win, but it wasn't it's 16 points. You know what I mean? There were many points throughout that second half, where we're okay, it's time to get that run going. You know what I mean? It's time to get a few buckets, and then we're in this game. You know what I mean? It just never came. It never did come.
Yeah, it wasn't complete domination. We just sold.
We sold. We sold for sure.
I think me watching the game, I think the energy really shifted in the second half.
Yeah.
I could see, especially coming to the end of the first half, the energy was really there. I think you guys were really hungry on those last few possessions.
Yeah.
You could tell the energy was there defensively, aggression was there, but then second half, I started seeing frustration shots from you guys, and outside looking in, I notice when a team is starting to get demoralized when shots aren't falling, and I think you guys were victim of that.
So I think we ended up having that talk where we discussed roles and all that kind of stuff. So I honestly think that this loss is actually a good thing.
Yeah,
I hope.
We say that every week.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it's good to be an optimist.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic. But Farsan did great. 13 points. He actually caught Omar slipping a million times.
Yo.
There was so many because Omar is a great on-ball defender, but off-ball he just was sleeping.
Oh my god.
We went through the film together as a team, and we saw it was just bad. But what's it called? Shout out there. Big O played well as well. 3 for 5, 7 rebounds, 7 points. Omar Abbasi, he didn't play garbage. We really we put Yusuf on him, and he was chasing him around everywhere, and he was frustrated with the amount of screens that they were throwing against him, which we knew that was going to happen. That's their game plan. They set all those screens, they get him open.
I'm just happy because I remember on the first podcast before the season, I think somebody said I'm the best catch and shoot shooter in the league, and then he was nah, he hasn't met me yet. And the game we faced off against each other, 2 out of 5, both of us.
Who said that?
I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know.
That's funny. Islam, you're saying, or somebody else?
No, I'm talking about Abbasi, bro.
Okay.
2 out of 5. He just scored 1 more point than me.
I do have to make this comment because I mean I see it on the stat sheet and I saw it in the game. Yusuf had 6 turnovers.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to see him be a little more composed, bringing the ball up, not rush, getting into your sets and really try to look point guard to point guard, really try to set up the offense. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration settles in, especially when you're the one bringing the ball up. If you're seeing that either your teammates' shots aren't falling or your own shots aren't falling, it's really tempting, to let that aggression kind of get to your head. You're coming up next possession. It's like, all right, I'm gonna be the one to get a bucket for us.
Right.
And you realize it's like you're going one on 4, one on 5, and you end up turning over the ball. So I think those are the things that could really help you get over that like slump mid game, is to really pause, slow yourself down, and just really reset and try to bring like new life to the team versus trying to put it all on your back. So
no, 100%.
Definitely want to see that.
100%. I think again, like we talked about roles specifically, like who's going to be our playmaker, who are going to be our main scorers, like, and we have a lot of talented players on our team, right? So that was kind of like last week, Tariq Hamid came on the pod and was like, you guys might have too many mouths to feed, and I was like, I don't know, I feel like we share the rock, whatever, like. But no, he was kind of right. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like we didn't play with each other. We didn't know who was going to be that guy for even if it switches up, right? Like as long as you kind of have a designated person to like not even just one person, multiple people, but like as long as you have a game plan when it comes to that stuff, is like that we didn't have that, right? So now I think hopefully we'll see what comes in this next coming week, but shout out Areeha, you guys played great. You guys like kept the pressure up all game, so it was great. Frustrating on our part. We felt frustrated. You guys did a great job. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, Areeha, honestly, they're one of those teams that they play very well together. It's like they're deceiving off the first look, but when you see them play, they're very cohesive and they know how to work with each other. I think they know who their guys are and they try to set them up, and they fill in the gaps otherwise. So yeah, they're a sneaky team. Definitely not a team you want to underestimate.
No.
It was tiring to guard them. Like we didn't do a terrible job, but that was rough.
We were also missing Bilal Mateen, who's our big. Like he's definitely important for us. So you saw that me and Osman Khan had to kind of shift into a big man role, which is not the way that we typically play.
Takes you out of your game.
Yeah. So like especially defensively, and then also like offensively, we kind of had to. It was just it felt very different, awkward for us. You know what I mean? But no, seriously, hats off to Areeha, and I'm ready to forget about this game for the rest of my life.
Me too, bro.
You guys have anything else to say?
No, just I think word of advice. I think the first year LeBron was in Miami. One of the reasons that I think he might have mentioned it, a lot of people talked about it, but one of the reasons they didn't mesh well is because I think between him and D Wade, they never really addressed like who that guy is.
Yeah.
So after they lost that year to the Mavs, D Wade went to LeBron. He's like, all right, the keys are yours. This is your team now. And I think that's what made them successful for those next couple of years. So having that role conversation is important because we're not all the Warriors, right? We're not all like, hey, anybody could score. Sometimes you really got to establish the roles so people can, there's a goal now and I can aim to be the best in my role.
Right. No, 100%. That's a very well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. All right, next game. So I actually stat kept for this game, Shatila versus Yazur, and it was a fight. It was actually very interesting. So this is full Yazur team. They're missing Montaka here, who's I believe he's their second highest MBR or third highest MBR. So he was definitely up there.
Yeah.
I think his MBR is like 29, which is crazy because definitely
they're all solid, bro.
Right.
They're all solid,
but big improvement from last year, which is very interesting, right? But they went on an early lead, right? I think they were up by like 10 or something like that. And Shatila kind of came back. They would fight. They played really good defense. It was very physical game. He actually had 2 technical fouls in this game, one from Mohamed Amin on Shatila and one from Surakata. But they were going at each other. And you saw like first half it's 9-24. Right? That was the score in the first half. Second half it's 28, Shatila scores 28 to Yazur's 22. So they actually beat them. This is the first half that Yazur actually lost. So props to Shatila for that. But they did keep it within reach for like the entire but right when they would try to cross really get over that hump, Yazur would just pull away just a little bit more, and so they never really got there. But this is also from a team that's missing Karim Shaban, who is typically their either leading or second leading scorer, I believe. So like you're missing an option there, right? He usually will at least he'll get and play physical and get fouled, get to the line, give you an extra. That could have been those extra points that really get him that. I think
their team
lead.
is actually leading in free throw percentage, and they get to the line very often. So that's a big way they've been winning games.
And they actually also lead in points allowed, I believe. So they're the best defensive team in the league, which is crazy. Because again, this is also the same Yazur team that scored 90 something the first week, right? So it's like, right, like they did a really good job.
I was surprised to see 46 as the final score on there.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. Is that like I week after week I'll come here and say that they're a little overrated. I don't know anymore. I don't know so much anymore. I think they're now in my top 4 as of right now.
I think we got to talk about the 13 steals from Yazur in total.
Wow.
That's just insane.
I mean, wow. 5 steals by Abu Drahan. But honestly, I'm not even surprised. When I see his name, bro, that's the way he plays. Like, he's straight up the like really good Draymond Green of that team. Like, he actually like can fill up any stat, any individual stat at any point, and he usually will like fill up multiple of them. This is actually a slow game for him. But 5 steals is actually ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that stands out to me the most is I think Yazur is generally a very efficient team. But this game, you look at their stat line, it's like, 5 for 15, 4 for 12.
3-point shooting problems as well.
So 2 for 20.
Wow.
Which is, they usually hit a lot more than that. So.
That looks like the Yazur of old.
So, I mean, Shatila definitely did their thing defensively with them.
Yeah.
I think just looking at the second half numbers, I imagine a lot of it was coming from steals, but it doesn't look like Yazur was slowed down offensively in the second half, which, I think Shatila definitely stepped it up offensively. But I think, if it's the steals, if it's, maybe some of the layups they're getting in the paint, I don't think they're really doing too good of a job slowing them down. And that's kind of really where you have to take, I think you have to take Yazur out of their game. And I don't think there's been one team that's really successfully done it yet.
I think this is the closest we've seen.
Yeah, for sure.
And Ahmad, for a couple of times he's come, like, there were, notably from what I remember, he would just walk up, he'd hit a nice 3, and it would just keep them in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were just on the edge of being put away for good, and he would just really, like, I think towards the very end, as far as I remember, they, like, I think they brought it in within, like, 6 or something like that. It was, like, really close. But, slipped away from them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Shatila as a team they're doing pretty good. I think we played them first week. We underestimated them coming in, and I think defensively and how they play together as a unit, I think surprised me a lot. And I think that's probably where a lot of other teams are underestimating them. They have some older guys, so I think if you're coming in with a young team, you might underestimate that, but. Listen, if you know how to play well together, you're going to get beat in this league.
100%.
So I think they've been showing that a lot.
They are a Sami Shaban run team, as Tariq put it. It was like very, very well put with that.
Yes.
But a lot of times people like you said, they discount the ability that like when you are a team that meshes together, you can beat teams that even if you're not super skilled. Like if you play well together, you can beat most of these men's league teams in general. You know what I mean? Like this isn't the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? Like if you play really well together, that's huge. I really hope she doesn't mess with that up. Anyway, let's just move on. What's it called? I also want to see a little bit more from Mahmoud Hamdan. He showed this game that he like really can pop off. I just hope that he continues that into his future games. I think obviously the absence of Karim Shaban gives him that space and opportunity to do that. But he played really well. He played like very physical. He would get inside. He had a couple threes. So yeah, I think
definitely had an impactful stat line looking at it, and I mean, shout out to my other Mahmoud. I definitely want to see him because I know he can do it too. I think that would really give Shatila the added edge if he can really step up and take on that second, third leading scorer type role. I think he's capable of it, and it really helped them.
And you know what? Honestly, I also did remember Sami Shaban was getting extremely frustrated at this in this game. You can see he had 5 turnovers there, 12 rebounds, which is great. But he checked himself out. because he was so frustrated. 1 for 9. Like it was just like I don't think he was getting calls. It was a physical game.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it turns. But if we look at the other team, like you said, inefficient shooting. The leading scorer, usually you have multiple people in 20 points, etc.
Yeah.
They held him down to 11 for Alisson and 11 for Mumtaz.
Yeah.
And again, I think they're definitely feeling the absence of Montaka here because he's their leader usually, and he usually will kind of get them out of their slump and figure out what the other team's doing and kind of counteract it.
For general,
yes, but also a breakout game from Sadia. This is a very efficient game, 9 points on 4 for 7 shooting, which was really good. I noticed that he was getting the ball through the rim pretty often last game.
Yeah.
But,
the crazy thing with Yazur is, looking at their team stats, they lead in both points and assists. They pass the ball really well.
They're gonna do their thing.
Yeah, so I think they were slowed down this game in terms of their ability to pass, and you could still see that their entire team is making an impact throughout the game, but they were not able to get to their spots the way that they like, and they're inefficient as a result. So, if you could stop that, you have a good chance at stopping them. Although no one's done it yet, so,
right? Yeah. But I mean, I don't think anybody's really going to need to, based off of what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Coming down the rumor mill.
Something's cooking.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on to the next one. Tulkarem versus Ajjur, and this one was a dog fight, bro.
Oh yeah, I watched this game.
So I heard that there were some stat
Oh my
inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think that Abdul Traore was there, but he had 22 points and 11 for 12 shooting.
Bro, what?
Bro, he wasn't even there.
Oh wow.
So I don't know. I don't know which ghost scored 22 points
think
there.
We have some new stat keepers. Just be patient with them. They're training and some of the procedures. They're getting used to it. So just be mindful, be respectful, stat keepers, and yeah.
But we probably won't have this issue again.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, as very well put. Please take it easy on them. Some of them are new, but they are getting a lot better. So give them another week and we'll be good. But Ajjur, I mean, this is a high scoring game. You have newcomer Messiah Antwi. MBR is 42. Unbelievable. He's apparently the number 13th ranked player in Delaware.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy.
That is insane.
11 for 17, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block. Then you had 20 points from Raheem. Finally, the breakout game that we've been waiting for from him. 10 for 16 on the shooting, which is great. And Wahid, 16 points, 7 for 11 shooting. He's been one of their leaders this year as well. So he's been playing great. As a team, I think Tulkarem, this is their one again. Like this is like probably the 4th heartbreaking loss that they've had. You know what I mean? Or third. I'm sorry. Like each one of their losses have been close.
Yeah,
they've been like they're fighting, they're gritting their teeth, and they're just getting it in, and you just can't get over that last hump to actually win the game.
Yeah.
So it's tough. They picked up Messiah, which is definitely a step in the right direction. Ajjur is not an easy team to beat. But they kept it close. They kept it close. That's a tough. It's a tough outcome for them.
Yeah, and they went to OT, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I remember. Yeah, it was tough down the stretch. I mean, they were trading leads at the end, and then I think I think it was Tulkarem that got a layup to tie it and go to overtime, and then from overtime, overtime is really short. I mean, it's 2 minutes, so it's pretty much like if you could get a bucket and a stop, you're good.
You're up, and you have a good commanding lead in that overtime. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what happened. I mean, it's tough, but I mean, these type of losses, you either build on them and you tell yourself, hey, we're a couple buckets away from winning, or you let that be what kind of
defines your team.
Yeah. So I think they could definitely turn things around. It's a good sign if they're getting close. It just means a couple mistakes you got to clean up, and you'll be able to get a dub.
100%. Unfortunately for them, though, they still haven't had a real win. So that sucks. Tulkarem. They're the ones also that lost off the buzzer beater against Shatila, which like a heartbreaking loss.
Yeah,
like again, now they're in overtime. They lose another. Like it's just damn, bro.
Jeez.
But taking on the other side, Abdullah Silla, 50% shooting, 17 points. Great game from him. Hassan was actually more efficient today, 7 for 18. It's not the most efficient, but it's not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 19 points, 2 rebounds, which is not his worst showing, I guess we could say. 5 for 6 from Yusufo, which is good, 11 points. And the other Yusuf, 4 for 9 for 9 points and
Not
9
bad,
rebounds. So you had a lot of
So
great
much scoring.
yeah.
Oh my
I don't know.
gosh.
Again, I don't know who they thought was Abdul, because whoever that was really led the team. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
11 for
Crazy.
12, like he missed one shot.
He's player of the week right here. We don't even know who he is.
Yeah, could you imagine if they accidentally like put him
Dude,
as player of the week?
literally,
bro?
like, that's a good stat line. 8
Yeah.
rebounds, too, almost a double-double.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Like,
insane.
almost perfect efficiency. I mean,
Yeah.
He flew in, bro. Played in
Ghostbuster.
But yeah, this was a dogfight. It was just back and forth, from what I heard.
Yeah.
And both teams shot really well, 50%.
And neither
at
team
least.
shot threes well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
that's
20% for both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
What do you think it was that really took the other team over?
I mean, I'm looking at
Fouls, it looks like.
yeah, 12 fouls for
Oh,
Tulkarem.
yeah.
I mean, that's
100%.
really what will that can really slow you down.
Yeah.
It'll either prevent you from building momentum, or I mean, if the other team is capitalizing off free throws, that
I don't-
doesn't help
yeah, I
either.
think it was
In a
the
game as
first-
close as
they
this,
only
too,
had
like
3 free throws.
yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
really have
Son,
many either. That's
yeah,
interesting.
you knocked them all down, but they definitely didn't beat them at the line
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, these type of things, it's like you just need to make some little adjustments, and that's what ends up getting you. You know, I think good coaches, they really say in situations like this when you just barely lose. It's not the buzzer beater or going into overtime that made you lose. It's being in that position to begin with.
Yes,
Yeah,
something
so-
fundamental that sent you to that got you there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
So
fair enough.
there's definitely some adjustments to be made, but they're not far off. They're definitely not far off, and I think they have the talent to get there. They just got to clean things up a little bit.
And honestly, that's what I love about this league this year, is that like there is no team that I can look at and be like
They're terrible.
they're garbage, like they're
I feel like
bad. You know what I mean?
could
Like
have done that last season.
last season we could have for sure, right?
Skill
But
level definitely elevated.
this season the
significantly.
competition is good enough where like every week it's anybody's game. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
it makes our jobs harder on the predictions, but you know it's so much fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
So okay, let's go to the next one.
Let's see it.
All right, we got Baysan versus Haifa, and this was a blowout. Haifa,
Only
Baysan
5
was
players.
actually missing Big
Yeah.
Moose, MP3, and it looks like they're missing somebody else too. Hold on, Big Moose and MP3. Let me see.
yeah.
Who else? And Accent popped off, bro.
Yeah,
God,
dude.
And
7
they're
points.
missing Kareem Ahmed as well, who's also one of their big players. So
He almost outscored their whole team.
So
crazy,
wow.
crazy stat line there.
that is insane.
12 for
37 points.
22, 8
Probably-
threes made, 5 free throws out of 6, 6 rebounds, 3 assists,
I don't think I'm getting
37 points.
Yeah,
Solid
player
line.
of
I
the
mean,
week.
that's player of the week right there for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable.
And the rest of the team was involved too.
Yeah.
I mean, almost everyone in double figures.
Mikal Bridges, 11 rebounds,
Yeah.
8 points, 13 points, and 3 rebounds. By Ishaq, he had 2 assists and 3 steals. 10 points by Hamza, and 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals there. Yeah, they played great. 46% shooting,
That's
30% from 3.
That's super impressive because they only had 5 people.
That's kind of what's scary about this team, is that like they are missing their best player in Moose, right?
Yeah.
They have a very key player in MP3 that's missing. Kareem Ahmed's also a really good player that they're missing, and they still had somebody come out and drop 37 and win the game. You know what I mean? Resoundingly, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like,
That's the ideal situation when you have players out.
right,
You know?
Yeah.
right.
That's insane.
And looking at Haifa, I mean, 11 turnovers, 10 fouls.
And they
that's
shot
kind of
efficiently too.
Yeah.
that's a
a very
recipe for
sloppy game.
disaster. Yeah.
Oof.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, 17 points from Osama and Elton. But man, it took a lot of attempts to get there.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those cases where the line was definitely a factor. I mean, you give the other team 8 free throws, that's a different game than 20-point difference. They're capitalizing on most of those. So, there you go. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
trying
don't
to
understand,
see.
like, Big Moose is not like a role player that you're missing here.
Yeah.
That's Big Moose.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so it looks like they had no shortage of attempts. Like they still had like I don't think it was really like a turnover issue, getting like steals, etc. Like they each had about 60 something attempts, right? Like
Yeah.
they just it just was not falling for them. I didn't see the game to see like if they were taking bad shots or not.
Yeah.
But if I'm
Eight
taking
more
21
field
shots
goals.
though, like and they're not falling, I'm
Passable.
swinging the rock. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like that's
You can say that about multiple people in the stat line.
yeah, it's crazy. Like you had pretty much 3 people with over 14 attempts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and bad efficiency. I
Yeah.
don't know. I obviously wasn't there for the game, but
I didn't see the game, but it looks like frustration to me. Just looking at the stat sheet,
Yeah.
lots of fouls, lots of turnovers, and you have a lot of people chucking. That seems like
Yeah.
people are getting mad throughout the game. So
A little bright spot was that Elton shot 40% from the three,
Yeah.
but overall he didn't shoot great. You know what I mean? He shot less than 33%. Yeah, usually you also see a bigger game from Desar. He's a pretty good player. He's their big man, and he again like I think what this team is missing is a true point guard because you'll see Desar fit into that role where he kind of tries to play the point guard as a big, and so he has 5 assists, which is not easy to get in this game. You know what I mean? So like, especially if your team's not shooting well, right? Like you know what I mean? But 5 assists on 49 points is relatively pretty good. But again, that's your big, right? Like a lot of times I'll notice when I'm watching their game is that he's almost like sometimes bringing up the ball.
Yeah.
So I think they're missing like a pure point guard. And they have, I think they have no shortage of guards. I think somebody just needs to really step up and take that role.
It honestly sounds like an offensive problem to me. Like they need to get their whole team involved. It seems like.
I think they need to
so
have
many players. You should be able to tire the other team out. If
Yeah.
you have 5 players, like there's no excuse.
No, 100%. That's a very good point. They had the rotations. They had 8 people.
Yeah.
I think like you were saying, like kind of what we had. They I think need to also have that talk, right, where they talk about those roles and they get it straightened out, right, like because that's essentially what we needed, right? And I think
I see if they get straightened out.
Right. I hope I genuinely feel like that was our biggest problem, right? But I guess we'll see. But but I think that's it seems like that's what that what they need.
Yeah, I agree totally. Sometimes you just need to stop and just make sure you don't do what we did last season and lose every single game
except one.
Still looking for the first win. This game is rough.
What do you guys think Haifa needs to do to get a W in the stat column?
Figure out their offense.
So I think again they have role players that are not getting touches. So they have Habib, Hassan, Muhammad, both Muhammads are sharing 3 attempts.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like so like these are 4 guys, 5 if you include Yusuf Shanawi with 4. He had 2 for 4, right? So it's like these guys are not getting touches, especially if 3 other guys on that team are again 21 attempts, right? Like if you include them in a way where you can have them maybe set off ball screens, pop out, you spread the floor using them, like you know what I mean? Like as long as you keep them guessing, right? Like
crazy.
If you look at Baysan, they had you had Hamza and Ishaq who had at least 10 points. You had 8 points from Casey. You know what I mean? Like you still had contribution from really everybody on that team.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't really have that from this team.
Yeah, and I think something that I try to do personally when I'm playing, and something I also notice is even if you have like a role player, right? A guy is a hustle player, he's more of a rebounder or a screen setter. You got to get these guys touches if you want them to be effective in their role. If I'm not seeing the ball at all the entire game, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be really motivated to be, setting screens hard, cutting hard, grabbing boards. So you gotta, if you want guys to give you the effort you're looking for, you got to get them involved too. Get them some touches, get them some wide open looks, and if they see 1 or 2 shots fall, they're going to be more motivated to grab a board or try.
They're going to feel their impact, and it will translate into other parts of the game.
That's
a very good point.
I think the reason they lost this game is because they tried to play a team with 5 players, only using 3. They got 5 people on the bench. It seems like.
I honestly thought some of these guys didn't even play. It sounds like they had everyone.
The only noticeable stat line from most of their team is like 8 rebounds from Yusuf Al-Shanawi. I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
That's it. 56 field goal attempts from 3 players, and then I think 7 from 5.
Yeah.
I think that's
poor distribution.
Significant.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next game. Great performance by Baysan, and we hope
Great
to see
game.
better from Haifa. Actually, it looks like they kind of kept it close in the first half. By the way, it was really the second half that they really popped away.
Yeah.
They were only down by 5 in the first half.
Yeah.
But, I think I want to watch that tape back again just to see.
Yeah, just
I'm kind of curious.
What happened?
Maybe I'll talk to
Yeah.
them before Sunday.
Second half, honestly, is where a lot of these games are being lost.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things is like if you are consistent and you have a lot of resolve as a team, you have a good chance of winning.
Yes.
There's a lot of teams that fall apart in the second half. I don't know if it's stamina. I don't know if it's just frustration, but
mix of both.
there's a lot. Yeah,
Speaking from experience,
there's a lot of games here where it's close in the first half and then second half is just complete blowout.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving, guys. We don't want to harp on any one game for too long. Last game of the week, we got Bir Seb'a versus Sabra. This was honestly, first half. First of all, so Sabra, you know what? I'll let you go first. Actually, you were in the game. I had a different perspective because I stopped.
I want to hear your perspective, though.
Okay. All right, I'll tell you what I said. Okay, so I thought so. First of all, they went on a run really fast in the beginning. They were up by I think 10 to 12. You guys, I think, only had one bucket really before that, and NS, I feel like never really got going this game, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you guys did a good job of bringing it back in the first half. I felt like second half, after I watched that first half, I felt like second half you guys were going to really punch them in the mouth and take the win because you had the momentum coming into that halftime, right? And I don't know, I think with any player. Any one player, I feel like if NS is not getting it going, obviously take the open shots for sure.
Yeah.
But if it's not working, you got to look somewhere else. You know what I mean? And I think that it seemed like your guys' game plan was we got to get NS going at all costs, and that's the end of the story, right? And that's kind of what it seemed like happened. That he never really got it going, and then that's kind of where your guys' game ended. The second half, they just took it and ran. It was you guys had 21 points, similar to the first half, but they had 45. What did you think of your defense?
Honestly, I would say that was our biggest problem.
I saw Abdullah Mahmoud 3 or 4 times wide open for layups. You know what I mean? There's some kind of miscommunication or confusion.
Yeah, I think there's some fundamental miscommunications about who's guarding who, switching on a new man when someone's making a sub. So I think part of the reason we lost is because of little mistakes like that are easily avoided. And then defensively, I think probably what really was demoralizing for us is that we weren't getting stops.
Yeah,
I think we let some of their key guys get into a rhythm.
Yes.
Offensively, we did pretty good in the first half.
Yes.
They got to a quick run. I think watching the tape back, they hit a few quick threes. But beyond that, we were doing very well offensively. We're moving the ball well. Lots of guys were getting touches. So I like where we were in the first half, but I think defensive mishaps. I think not communicating on screens, on switches.
There were quite a few of those. Enough where I took notice. Where I was okay, this is because usually when I'm stat keeping, I can't I have to just focus on the exact play that's going on right now. I can't really focus on.
You guys did also get out rebounded a little bit.
There were a couple of times when Abdullah Mahmoud was super wide open, and I was what is going on? Why is he wide open right now? Who's their man? And then also the other half of things, you can't really control certain things. Ahmed Zayed really came to shoot today. I mean,
he had a great game, and I honestly, in the game, I was thinking there was a couple possessions where he made a 3 on me, and in the game, I'm thinking it's I'm not guarding this guy well.
Yeah.
And then I watched the tape back. I'm I was right there.
You were. He just came to shoot. He just came to shoot. I was on pod last week and I said you got to stop shooting, but he just came back and brought the strap this time. He actually shot.
He had 8 threes, I think.
8 threes, which is insane. All of his shots were threes. 8 for 18 on full. But if you were to look at his overall efficiency, it's not. I mean, I guess actually no, it's pretty good actually.
Yeah, 9 rebounds.
Yeah, it is pretty good. 8 for 18 is what close to 40%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 44%.
The thing is
from 3 too. He just you couldn't play better defense. I was thinking, you know what I mean? They were all contested shots.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't take all his shots for threes. Wow.
Yeah, no, I think in the first half he made a few, but then second half he started hitting.
Yeah.
And I think it's really demoralizing for to go through a long possession and then have a guy just hit a three in your face.
Yeah, 100%.
So that definitely didn't help team morale at all. And I think obviously they're missing Ryan. Ryan contributes offensively.
Yeah.
I think Melik usually scores a lot more. We slowed Melik down.
Yes, you did.
But two of their other main scorers, I mean, Muhammad wasn't slowed down at all.
Muhammad popped off.
Yeah, he had a double-double, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 23 and 16 on 10 for 18 shooting. It's funny.
55.
After the game, he was like, "What did you say about my efficiency last week?" And it was like him and Ahmed that I kind of like went in on. Like I was just like, these guys are shooting a lot. They shot like I think. Last game it was bad. I'm not even gonna bring it up out of like just to not embarrass them.
Yeah.
But this game they came out really shooting. They did a really good job. So props to them for sure. It was 23 on great shooting and 24 for Ahmed on again 44% shooting, which is great.
Yeah, and I mean they had their whole team involved. I think if you have someone like Muhammad and Ahmed who like they have great games, you should at least be able to stop everybody else, the other players. And you look at the stat sheet, I mean, everybody was involved, and those extra 10, 15 points you get from other guys, it's like that. That's really what makes
the deal
team
breaker
win.
there, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I personally think a lot of those came from just, miscalculations, miscommunication, and these are kind of the things you really got to tighten up as a team. Being that I am on this team, I definitely take responsibility for some of my own defensive mishaps, but as a team, I still think we're very there. I'm still very optimistic. I think we still have a very solid squad. I think it's just a matter. I know we're coming up on halfway through the season, but I still very much think there's a turning point coming for our team, and we have what it takes to just cleaning up a little of these mistakes, and you'll get there.
I didn't think you took 15 shots.
It
did not feel like that.
You know something? I'm not gonna lie. I counted it back. I don't think I did take 15 shots.
Really?
Yeah, just watching the video. I think I took a lot. I think I took closer to 10 or 11.
Really?
So
I stacked.
No shot at the stat keeper. No shot at the stat keeper.
I personally stacked up that game. It says 15. You took 15.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right, you know what? I'm curious. I think I'm gonna watch it back just to count.
I'm gonna count it back, but yeah, I really tried to focus more on moving the ball around.
Yeah.
And I did like some of the looks I was getting. I think to coming into this game, definitely haven't had a very efficient first three games.
Yeah.
You
shot the ball much better this game.
Yeah,
much better. It like from the eye test when I was watching it, I was like, okay, this is the game. He's back. Like he's shooting great. 50% from the three.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I there must be some kind of mistake. I don't think you shot 15 shots.
Yeah.
I don't remember calling out that you shot 15 shots. You know what I mean? 'Cause like I was doing the call-outs, I'll say,
it definitely felt like
whatever.
A lot less than that.
100%.
And when I looked at the stats, I was like, nah, I feel like I took less shots than that. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We lost regardless. I definitely want to look to do more as a player for my squad.
Yeah.
And then try to get other guys involved. I think another thing that really didn't work out for us is I think in the paint, a lot of our shots were not falling.
So, I was just going to say, what do you guys think about getting Salman more involved?
I think we need to. I looking back at the tape, I think in the first half I went to him. See, the thing with Salman is also a really good passer, like as a big. So sometimes he'll be in the paint and then he'll find the wide open guy on the 3-point line. And then, if we end up missing, it kind of sucks. But definitely want to look to get him more involved. And I want him to be more aggressive and take those shots up because I know he could finish. And we definitely pose a threat in the paint, but I don't think we're taking advantage of it yet.
Right.
And I think as a team, collectively, we just need to be more aggressive. I know personally myself, I need to be more aggressive, but I want to see the same level of aggression from my teammates too. So I think there's more attacking and then finishing that we could be doing.
Right, because I think when I look at your team, you guys are shooters. A lot of you guys are shooters. So it's like if you have more of that presence inside, it really opens up a lot of doors for you guys on the 3-point line. So
and I think a lot of our losses up until this point, a big factor in them is that teams have put a lot of pressure on our shooters, and then we're not really adjusting.
Exactly.
So I think that's a change we need to make.
And you know what? I think so. Every time Kiran plays on a team, they lose. However, if he hits 1 3, they win. Right? So
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I'm doing like the scouting report before the game, I'm literally like, "Yo, listen, like some like Osad Key. It's like if you leave them open, they are going to make it."
Yeah.
And then in the game, I saw Key hit the wettest 3-pointer of my life, and I'm just like, "Yo, this is exactly what I was trying to prevent."
The answer.
Yeah, literally. Oh man, shout out Key, bro. I love Key.
Yeah, I'm really happy he's in the league, even though he's not on my team anymore. I'm really happy he's in the league because I get to see him every week now.
Bro.
Yeah, he's telling me in the middle of the game. I'm like, I don't know. I was saying something to Osad, and Key's like, "Yo, don't let him butter you up." He's just trying to. I'm like, "Yo, get out of here."
It's so funny. Where was that energy last year, buddy? No,
yeah, man.
All right, yeah, great game by Sabra. Next week they'll have Ryan back. I think that'll honestly change things up for their team. I think they play very differently.
And honestly, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Not a
at
shot Ryan at all.
I totally agree.
Not a shot at Ryan at all.
I totally agree. It's just about the meshing of the team.
Exactly. They have a lot of good players.
Yes.
So finding the balance between who's getting the touches, that could really bring a team down.
It mixes things up.
No,
absolutely.
In my opinion, I think it definitely is a bad thing. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's nothing against anybody personally. Right. It's more like you got a lot of mouths to feed. So how are you going to balance it?
Right.
It's personal.
So yeah, I'm interested.
All right, guys, let's get into predictions here. So next week we have Nazareth versus Areeha, which is going to be a game. I think that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
But
what time is that at?
That's going to be 10 a.m. So it's at the same time as our game, unfortunately. No. So we're not going to be able to watch it. However, I do have Nazareth, especially rooting for Nazareth after the loss that we took last week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say the same thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Nazareth.
They're 4-0. They're hard to stop. They definitely. I just don't feel like they have an answer for Omar.
Yeah.
Shafiq is a great guard. They play a really good 2-man game, and then you also have many different role players that just pop off on many different nights. You know what I mean? It just really depends.
It's gonna be a good game, though.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be close. But yeah, I take Nazareth. You guys all take Nazareth too?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Next game, it's us versus you. You take us, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm definitely taking my squad, selfishly and unselfishly. I think we have what it needs to get over the hump, and I think that's going to happen week 5.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm taking Akka, and I'm hoping that they don't have what it takes on week 5, and I hope that they have what it takes on week 6.
All right.
Of course I got Akka. Come on.
I'm outnumbered here. 2 guys on the same team.
We took such a bad loss last week that I had to bring in backup this week.
No.
And honestly, I just feel like our team's coming out ready to play, man. It was embarrassing last week. So.
We shall see.
Inshallah, yeah. I know it's gonna be a good game though. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout.
For sure.
Unless, I'm just kidding. All right, next game, Haifa versus Tulkarem, and this is gonna be a good one. I just feel this is gonna be a good one. This might be Tulkarem's real first win. This also could be Haifa's first win. Mm-hmm. So it could go either way, but I mean, honestly,
I Tulkarem.
Yeah, I would say Tulkarem just because of that new guy that they have, Messiah. He's 6'8".
Yeah, he's huge.
It's insane.
Oh my god.
What are you gonna do, man?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
I think I got Tulkarem right now. I hope that Haifa kind of fixes their issues.
Stuff out,
and they have that conversation. They get everybody involved. I think that's what they need. But yeah, as of right now, I have Tulkarem.
Me too.
I would say the same. I think.
Yeah. Cool. Next game, Baysan versus Tiberias. Who do you guys got?
The battle of the 500 teams.
Yeah.
Baysan's the one with they just went off, right?
They did. XN, yeah.
And Tiberias. Dude, Baysan went crazy, man. If they're gonna have Big Moose, I got Baysan. I don't think you can really. They probably
have him.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna go Tiberias. I think Baysan has played really well last week. I know they were missing guys too, but again, I'm taking it throws you off when you don't have guys and then you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. I don't think you're always gonna have a great game like that. So it's 50-50. I'm gonna take Tiberias.
Okay, fair enough. What about you?
Baysan.
You said Baysan?
Yeah.
I'll go with Tiberias as well. I think Baysan's a great team. I think Tiberias have the pieces to beat Baysan. They have a big that can, I don't know about completely guard Moose, but definitely can slow him a little bit. He's definitely has the size inside.
Key player in this game is a Moose.
And then you also have Mahruz, who always likes to come downhill. Hopefully he gets his shooting going a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
And then you have Salraheen, who can kind of spread the floor there with the threes.
Yeah.
Oh, they have a bunch of good, 3-point
100%.
shooters on that team that can really spread the floor.
We got a lot of good games.
So I'm going to go with Tiberias for that one. All right, next game, Sabra versus Shatila. This is going to be a great. I can't wait to watch that. That's the game
to watch for me.
This is my game of the week for sure.
I'm bringing popcorn to that game.
Sabra versus Shatila.
Okay.
So Sabra is Rayan's team. Yeah. Shatila is the OGs, Sami Shaban, Karim Shaban, those guys. So both teams are 3-1. I have. Oof. I'm gonna take Shatila actually.
Ooh.
I think that's I definitely like. I just feel like either team is a good pick, but I don't know. Shatila only lost to Yazur so far, and they're a tough team.
Sabra lose to?
Sabra lost to, I think it was Tiberias.
Tiberias, I see.
Yeah, by 3 points.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
They beat Haifa, Areeha, and you guys.
I'm gonna take Sabra.
I think I'm gonna take Sabra too.
I can see that. I think they're gonna get Rayan back. It's gonna change things. I think that if you do not have a good shooting night by what's his name?
Karim.
Is it Karim? It's about Ahmed Zayed. That results in 10 more attempts for the other team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that is huge, especially in a game of numbers, in a game like close, like that will be close like this one. So I hope he shoots great. You know what I mean? That would be cool. I think I'd be rooting for Sabra to win.
Yeah.
But I think that Shatila will take it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Sabra, and I think the reason why is because I think last season, obviously, a lot of the players on Sabra played on Shatila, but I would give the advantage in terms of playing style, like knowing how the other team plays. I would give the advantage to Sabra because I think it was the playing style that they used to play with is closer to how Shatila plays now versus the other way around.
100%. But it is tried and proven, right? Like they did make it to the finals last year through that.
Yeah.
I think that I think that's a good take. But I definitely want to stir up a little bit of drama with that. I wonder if it was just an amicable split, how they're going to be talking. I'm going to be watching any technical fouls. I'll be all over that pod.
I might be on the sideline gassing it up a little bit.
Yeah. I have to take a look at that. It's funny.
Instigator.
Yeah. He said what?
You're just going to take that?
He told you.
You're just going to let him say that about you and score?
Yeah.
All right, last game of the week: Yazur versus Ajjur. This is the Yazur A team versus the Yazur B team.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on. How are you rooting for the B team?
Yeah.
I don't know how Yazur is going to look on Sunday.
It's theoretical,
but I think Yazur is going to take it. You can't really.
I want to take Ajjur just cause.
Yeah.
I think. Again, you know some of their guys, so there's a chance.
It's true. They are nice. They are nice. So.
Always love to root for the underdog.
And Ajjur Hassan did say he was like they're taking their first loss this week, so he did it last season.
Yeah, he did.
Let's see if he does it again this season.
I wasn't a believer last time.
All right, so those are our predictions.
All right, now it's time for our top 10 plays.
And here we go. Number 10, Desar shows the ball, jumps, and with the body control finishes the lay on Mikal Bridges. Man, he loves to be on the wrong end of the highlight reels. Number 9, Salman Khan takes the entry pass on the double team and splits them and finishes the lay over Omar Mana. Look at the footwork on this one. Number 8, Surakata gets the cookies and takes Ammar all the way to the basket over his head and finishes the bucket. Man, he caught you slipping. What a finish. Number 7, Messiah gets the spin move on Hassan, gets the in and out on Abdullah, and the tough finish on the rest of the Ajjur defenders. Take a look at this one in slow motion. He gives you a move with every part of his body. Number 6, late in the clock, you know what to do. You give the ball to Shafiq and you get out of the way. Watch Shafiq hit him with the nasty cross and the finish. Unfortunately, Walid stood no chance. Number 5, Yusuf sees the ball right in front of him and snatches it from Big O. And he's not done yet. He runs the break and finds the dime to erase ball on the other end. He's got that court vision with this pass. Number 4, Yusufo gets the steal on Muhsin and goes and fakes Subhan out of his shoes, finishes the fast break. You gotta see that one again. What a fake by Yusufo. Number 3, Ishaq's last name is Lay Him! Lay Him! It's like he turned those white jerseys into cones. What a finish. Number 2, you got the Shafiq and Omar Mana connection with this beautiful tip. Unbelievable pick and roll here. And a crazy finish by Omar Mana. And your number 1 play of the week, this one's gonna hurt. It's awarded to the entire Areeha team for their lockdown defense, allowing only this one free throw in the whole second half of our game. Great job, Areeha. Honorable mention goes to Shafiq once again for the 3rd time today. Beautiful ankle breaker there and a pass to Omar Mana for the finish. I had to include it for this cross. Second honorable mention goes to Ihsan for his 37-point night last Sunday. And your last honorable mention goes to Omar Abu Atiyah for the tough lay. Falls on the ground, and then Malik falls with him, and he goes down to the ground again. What are you guys doing?
All right, welcome back to the top 10 plays. Hope you enjoyed those. All right, yeah, I don't really have any announcements for this week, but we look forward to seeing you guys. We got some good games ahead of you.
I have one announcement. If anybody took home a Wilson Evolution ball with a nice signature on it, bring that with you on Sunday. Otherwise, I'm hitting up the cops. Nah, I'm playing. But if you took it home by accident, bring it with you.
He has a list of suspects. I know Raheem is there for sure.
Definitely.
All right, you guys. Thanks for having. You guys are great today. It's great to have you on the pod. Me. Absolutely. Yeah. And we'll see you guys on Sunday, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam, guys.